OK, now it's time to bring you Palmer's Punchlines, brought to you by WorkCover. Good evening, Scott Palmer.
Good evening, Drew.
Well, what about that victory by the Bears? Sweet for them.
Yes, Robbie Walls got up first thing, rang his wife Erin up on the Gold Coast, and I reckon the wind's taken a lot of pressure off at home, Drew. Then he sort of got up in front of all the supporters. Hundreds have travelled down from Brisbane and told them that we're in the middle of a horror stretch. We've got over North, we've got over Geelong now, we've got the Eagles, Bombers, Collingwood and Carlton, but we're going to fight our way through it and prove we can win anywhere in Australia.
And despite all the euphoria, they had to dash out of there and get the plane at 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 tonight they had to catch the plane, and they're hoping that there's a big reception back there at the Brisbane airport. I hope so too. Malcolm Blight said no excuses. Every quarter we had a 5-minute period where we thought we'd get back in it, but we were completely outplayed, he said today.
Gee, I reckon a bit of the pressure might go from Robert Walls to Malcolm Blight. Now, let's go to Collingwood, and Alan McAllister reckons today wasn't the last ever game at Victoria Park.
A big controversy raged over that subject all day, and Big Al got up at the dinner and he said, I will guarantee there'll be 3 games there next year, 3 games the year after, and 3 as long as I'm president, he said. And all those rumours, they're completely false. And Graham Corns came out and supported him. He said that, look, this is the sort of ground that should be preserved for football. And he said, if you can't play football at Victoria Park, you can't play football.
And apparently the Crows had some trouble getting on the bus.
Yes, a few of them had a bit of trouble. The police circle their bus out there at Victoria Park. A few Collingwood supporters have been copping in the neck over there at the Adelaide ground all these years. Had a few things to say. One bloke was whisked away, but there was peace and harmony tonight, Drew.
More injuries for the Pies, but what was the story with the kicking of Mick McGuan?
Well, it was a funny thing. He took a needle in the groin before the match, and apparently his leg went numb. And when he went out there and started the run, it was okay. But when he got to the point of kicking, he couldn't kick. And some went 10 metres and some went 25 metres, and he was quite perplexed out there at times.
How bad's the knee injury for Paul Williams?
Well, Drew, Lee said after it looks really bad, but we won't know until Monday. It looks like a cruciate. I'm just hoping it's the same as Gary Pertz, who'll allow him to be back sometime in the next month or so.
Now, that Carlton game, Sticks Kernahan's kicked 10 for South Australia, but I don't think ever for Carlton.
No, and he missed a day. 9-6, I think he kicked a day. He had a chance to do it in the last bit, but just missed. And it was one of the unfortunate things because the Blues made a pact at three-quarter time that they'd go off the percentage. They were 77 points in front, and they got together at three-quarter time and said, let's go for it. But the Lions fought back and got to within, they got to the deficit to 55 points. David Parkin said it was the only disappointing factor of the game.
Now, very quickly, apparently Kevin Sheedy had something special to say about Wanganeen's goal.
Wanganeen, he said, when you go home, sit and watch that game and remember it for the rest of your life because you don't really see things that good too often. But Sheedy's very, very pleased with his attack. He said Salmon took a needle today from his Achilles, might be back next week. Simon's kicked 6, and a young kid called Scot Cumming, who came across from West Australia in the draft, kicked 12 in the 2s.
Scotty, have to leave it there.
Keep punching, Drew.
Keep punching. You know what? We've got footy from 11 till 7 tomorrow. Hope you can join us.
In just a moment, Lex Luthor threatens Metropolis and Lois and Clark, the new adventures of Superman. Stay with us. 8:30 tomorrow night, Gerard Depardieu stars as the irrepressible explorer Christopher Columbus in the television debut of Ridley Scott's 1492, Conquest of Paradise.
This has been a 7 Sports production. These sponsors: